You ready the intro, or do you want me to do the intro?
Stand by.
Okay.
You're so impatient.
1343, stopping the vehicle, Central and 40th Place. 13L30 is behind the unit.
Sit back and relax. Your group therapy session has started. Welcome to Alone and Unsupervised.
Hey everyone, welcome to Alone and Unsupervised Session 4. I'm Frank.
And I'm Isaiah. So, it's good to be here, man.
It is good to be here.
I'm pretty excited with where everything's going. We're getting a lot of good feedback.
We are.
So, I think for today's session, given that Veterans Day just passed, I don't know, talk about that, kind of what the day means to you,
Oh, Veterans Day. So, I know what Veterans Day is designed to be. However, it seems like it's turned more into either thank me for my service day,
thank me for almost joining,
or thank me for almost joining.
Yeah. I think it's funny when people change their profile picture to get that clout. And if you do this, just know that I'm talking directly to you, like through a camera lens.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I think it's funny. Now, did I go through that phase after I freshly got out, or while I was still in? Did I change my profile picture? Absolutely. So I mean, in a way, I'm making fun of myself here, but I don't know, man. Like, go to Denny's, get your free breakfast, and go about your day, man. Like,
I don't know. My thought process is if your service means that much to you, it should mean more to you, at least more than one time a year, one day a year.
Yeah.
I don't see a point in changing your profile picture or, suddenly drawing attention to it when you have ulterior motives. That's just my thought.
Did you press record on the computer to record the audio?
I didn't, because I'm using this.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wow.
Oh, hey, listen, man. Just making sure that you know what you're doing.
Wow.
So, what is your thoughts on like special sales on the military days, on like Veterans Day? Personally, I don't mind Veterans Day sales. Like, it's.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. If it's something that we could say that it's, them being altruistic, but ultimately they're just trying to move product.
Yeah.
Now, do I like the fact that they are at least showing appreciation? Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, let's really kind of look at it for what it is.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is it bothers me for special sales on Memorial Day.
I can see that.
That's where it kind of aggravates me. Now, but also, did I go buy my Blackstone on Memorial Day last year? Yes. So, I mean, it's kind of a tit for tat, if you will.
Well, I think that there's a lot of that happens because there's a fundamental misunderstanding of the difference between the two. For those who don't know, Memorial Day is a day to memorialize or pay tribute to the fallen. Yeah. Remember those who have fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
by fallen, we mean the ones that perished in combat, not.
Yeah. But Veterans Day is meant for all veterans, living, dead.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's a question too. So, and I've in the veteran community, I've heard this go a couple different ways. All right. So Memorial Day is for the ones that perished in combat, right? But we all know through modern technology and just veterans being more outspoken, than like our grandpas were.
Yeah.
That some wounds aren't seen, Now, the ones that take their own life, do they fall under Memorial Day as well? I consider them as a part of Memorial Day, Just because they passed away on U.S. soil or they were back home doesn't mean that their injuries didn't follow them,
No, I can understand that. And I mean, honestly, I hadn't really thought a lot about it like that. I mean, it's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
You really kind of have to look. I mean, everyone kind of has to, I guess, think about that for themselves and figure that out for themselves.
I think we're splitting frog hairs there. But.
Yeah, I mean, we've all lost people over the years, whether it be in country or due to things that they brought home with them. But I would also argue, too, that you shouldn't necessarily limit remembrance to, 1 or 2 days a year. You should take a lot of time that you spent with them, take those memories, and use them as a learning experience, use them as a way to remember that individual.
Yeah.
But I think as veterans, we're starting to drop the ball, especially when it comes to social media.
Oh man, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad this topic's coming up.
Yeah.
Please continue, because I have things in the chamber ready to go.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of social media vets out there right now who are just, I mean, they're getting a good fighting position ready, and they're taking up that position and taking aim. And
they're in a fortified bunker ready to go.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, other individuals are bringing some of this on themselves. They shouldn't be, be proud of the service that you did. You don't have to.
You wore a uniform, you signed a contract with the bill can never be paid for, right? I don't care if you were a potato peeler in the Air Force. You still signed up. You know what I mean? Thank you,
Be proud of the service that you actually
Exactly.
did.
Not everybody, not everybody's going to have that Black Hawk Down story. Not everybody was Operation Phantom Fury in, freaking Fallujah.
Yeah. And to be honest, if you haven't been, you don't want them. You don't want those stories because a lot of additional things come with those stories aside from just storytelling clout.
Whenever I was in, we had a gunnery sergeant, and he would always say, "Boys, be careful what you ask for, because one day you might just get it, and whenever that monster punches you in the mouth, you got to be ready to fight it."
Yeah. Accomplishments aren't meant to necessarily be bragged about. Just be happy with what you did accomplish, because you've already accomplished so much more than the vast majority of the population when it comes to your service. But again, if you really walk that line between embellishment and reality, I mean, we're seeing on social media right now, there's a whole lot of individuals who are willing to knock you over that line or knock you back to where they think you should be.
Well, yeah, because it's a community, and if one of us gets out of line, it changes the landscape for all of us. And at work the other night, there was a young law enforcement officer that was talking about this guy that he went to the academy with, and he was talking about how, like this guy, it's kind of like every law enforcement training setting, whether it's a class that you're going to get hours or you're going to learn a new skill or you're in the academy, usually the same thing happens day one. You stand up, You tell who you are, what agency you're with, and kind of give a little bit of your background, like a snapshot into who you are as a person, if you will, right? And he said this guy stood up and said that he's a Tier 1 operator. And I was like, well, time out. That's how you know he's not a Tier 1 operator. There's no one ever leads with that. You know? Like, I mean, obviously, you know, there's people on social media that do they lead with that sometimes? But if, I don't know how I'm trying to say this.
I think that's more it's their shtick. That's how they get clicks.
Yeah.
But even still, you have to be careful about what you say, what you do, especially in settings like that, because there's a lot of people who've done a lot of things who aren't necessarily going to stand up and say.
Well,
and so with that being said, you really don't know what somebody else has done.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the conversation we've had in the past about that I'm not going to out the agency. I'm not going to out the guy. I think he had happened to him what should have happened to him. But the smaller agency and the guy that was talking about how he was a Navy SEAL and he was in a class that was being led by an actual SEAL, and then lo and behold, stolen valor was brought out, and that guy lost his job.
Yeah. And really what it comes down to is the overarching lesson to be learned from this is be happy with the service you performed. You don't have to be...
You don't owe anybody anything.
No, you don't have to be SF. You don't have to, have all these combat stories. Just be happy with what you did, because that should be enough. I mean, in my mind, that is enough.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't matter what you did. Be happy with what you did accomplish, because that's still more than some people will ever accomplish.
And there's healthy banter between the branches, as there always will be. But here's the deal. You serve, doesn't matter what branch, doesn't matter what job, you always have a seat at my table.
Yeah.
Knock on the door, coffee's on, bud. But the one thing I will always be proud of the veteran community for is the way we help each other.
Definitely.
And kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier is once one of us gets out of line, and, there's been, I'm not going to, I guess, say their names for legal reasons, but there's been some big names that have been in the community that have an overwhelming reach, that have been talking about these things that didn't happen for a very long time. And I don't know if people got tired of it or people started digging into their life, or kind of like a mixture of, but some of these guys made a lot of money talking about things that never actually happened. And you watch some of these shows, podcasts, documentaries, what have you, and they're just going down the gamut of this didn't happen, this didn't happen, why would you lie about this, why would you lie about this, why would you lie about this? And at the end of the day, do you think it's something mentally that they're trying to fulfill, like we'll take one of the ending scenes from Jarhead, where he's talking about how he trained every day to fire a rifle, and that day never came. You think it's kind of one of those where the guy trained and trained and trained and trained to get into the fight that never came, so he just developed the battlefield in his brain and started pushing that out? Or you think it was just greed?
I don't know. I think it's too easy to try and come up with one reason for everything. Everybody has different motivations. For some, it may be the whole keeping up with the Joneses. For others, it may be trying to fill some sort of void inside themselves.
Yeah.
For others, it may be, notoriety based, or, trying to make money off of what they did. But when all's said and done, you have to be aware that if you're going to go out there and you're going to tell stories, if you're going to embellish on actions, there is always going to be somebody there who's getting ready to knock you down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of the pillars of every single branch is the whole idea of integrity. So
Mm-hmm.
have that integrity.
Yeah.
Because once you lose it, you know, if you tell these stories to get a large social media following or to, you know, somehow monetize your life, you're going to have further to fall when the truth does come out. You know, if somebody gets caught in a lie between 2 or 3 people, okay, yeah, that person maybe doesn't have integrity, or that person, you know, fill in the blank here. But if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars on book deals, or if you have this massive following on social media, that's more people that are going to see you fall.
The part that aggravates me is, you know, I'm not going to say that I idolized some of these guys, but I guess in a way I did, you know. And the part that aggravates me is whenever the dust settles and everything comes out the way it comes out, I feel dumb.
Well, I mean, you're wanting to not necessarily. You're wanting to have that person to look up to.
Yeah, for sure.
They give you a narrative that fits kind of your criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, I mean, really when it comes down to it, you shouldn't have to look up to any of these guys.
Yeah.
Because whether they were tier 1 operators, whether they were whatever, I mean, you did a job in service of your nation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what more can you add to that?
So go get your free breakfast on Denny's.
Go get your free breakfast at Denny's, yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
But I mean, again, you know, there are lessons to be learned from this. You know, as veterans, yes, we need to police each other up.
Mm-hmm.
But on an individual level, we also need to keep our own integrity. We also need to make sure we're doing the right thing. So you don't put others in a position to where they have to bring you back to reality.
Yeah, you know, it's like day 1 of boot camp. They teach you the core values of the branch you serve. You know, the Navy and the Marine Corps honor, courage, and commitment, right? And lying about your service, man, that just takes away all of it. You know, I mean, you know, it takes away the courage, you know, because you're not able to stand up there and tell the truth, you know. Now you have no honor, and now you have no commitment to yourself, your battle buddy, the truth, you know. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, you're just disgracing those that you did serve with and disgracing yourself in the process.
Yeah. I mean, if I can be honest, it absolutely just pisses me off.
No, I completely understand that. But, you know, it also kind of goes back to what you mentioned before, you know, thank me for almost joining. The bottom line is, you don't have to be a member of the military or a former member of the military to do great things.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I don't need a reason why you didn't join. I don't care. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
You did or you don't. Not joining doesn't make you any less of a person.
Or any less of a man or a warrior or whatever.
No, it doesn't. So, again,
it doesn't make you any less American.
No, be happy with the choices you made, because at the end of the day, those are your choices. And if you're unhappy with the way that your life is, then guess what? You have the power to change it.
It also sounds like a you problem.
Definitely a you problem.
Yeah. So, but I guess saying all of that to say this, everything done in the dark is revealed by the light, which my grandmother, God rest her soul, was probably one of the smartest women I've ever met. And that was a big thing that she always said, you know, like everything done in the dark is revealed by the light. Basically, if you lie about stuff, you're going to get caught up in a lie. But it's not just the lie you say. I tell you something. Now I got to remember, what I told you, but then I told this guy something else, but now I'm getting my stories mixed up, and now it's a whole spider web of these lies, know.
In the end, too, excuses are just lies to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and it's bad whenever you start believing your own lies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We kind of went down the gamut there.
We did. We went straight down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, straight for the jugular vein.
But again, when all said and done, veterans are their own community.
Mm-hmm.
We need to police each other up.
Yeah.
But don't ultimately be an individual and don't make it about yourself, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have that integrity, have that honor.
Mm-hmm.
Because what do they say? 1% of the population,
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're already in that 1%. So just live a good life. Be a good person.
Yeah. And if it's anything I've realized about the veteran community, you're always one phone call away from somebody knowing somebody that knows somebody else that can debunk everything you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it really gets hinky whenever you're in a law enforcement profession. I'm sure, EMS and fire, they have their own things, but moral turpitude is a really big thing in law enforcement, because if we can't trust what you're saying, then how are you going to go on the stand and testify?
Yeah.
If a cop's word can't be trusted, then you're useless, because you are not you can't testify to what you saw or what you did with accuracy, because now you're on the Brady list. If you know what the Brady list is, go look it up. Now you're useless.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, too, within our society, we have become so egotistical that sometimes we just believe wholeheartedly the lies we tell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those lies that people tell themselves is, oh, you know what? It'll never happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never catch me in a lie.
Yeah.
Or it's not really a lie. I'm just exaggerating. But the bottom line is, it's all going to lead you down the same path.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you just be honest about what you did and what you didn't do, then when all's said and done, you don't have as much to remember.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about you, but one of the biggest lies I tell myself is I'm waking up early and going to the gym.
Yeah, from some of the comments I've seen.
Yeah.
They're calling you out for not going to the gym with them?
Yeah.
How's that working out now?
So, little backstory. My wife and I are foster parents, and we have a foster placement with us, and she's just the sweetest, cutest little baby. But with newborns come sleepless nights, and the first week it was actually sleepless nights, and I'm not going to the gym, not going to the gym, not going to the gym, and then that turned into, oh, hey, I have an excuse now to not go to the gym, and I've gotten comfortable. You know?
And what is it we just talked about with excuses? They're just
exactly
means of lying to yourself to make you feel better.
Yeah. No, it's all right. I can have these gummy bears. It's fine.
I can have this Twinkie.
Yeah. Or our midnight shift pizza runs.
I mean, it has all the food groups.
It does have all of it, and it's tasty, and it's really the only hot food we can get at 3:00 in the morning.
Very true.
But it's how this was born, so
it is.
I mean, go pizza.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm not gonna lie. This entire time we've been filming, I've been thinking about what's in that box.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good ones in there.
There are some good ones in there.
Let's see.
We want to try one?
We're at 24 here. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just do it.
Pop it open. Let's see here.
Just randomly. All right. Your safety brief for session 4.
Okay. I'm going to give the handle. This is from Chupacabra. Today's safety brief. If you can't wash it off, show it off, or share it with your friends, don't bring it home. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.